So you want to learn how to make cards with your Cricut. That's what we're doing today. We are in the middle of a card making series, and this is our second episode. So today is all about making the basic Cricut card. And not only that, we're going to go through all of the card kits. And what do all these things like R10, R20, R30, what do they all mean? And which machines do you need for which of the card kits? And not only that, at the end, I have a little tip for you guys. And I want to thank my subscriber, Stephanie, for bringing it to my attention so that I can share it with you. Okay guys, so let's hop into it. And if you're new here, you're crafting with Kim Byers. Okay, so here we are on my craft table. I want to talk to you about two things before we jump into making our very first card. So I want to talk about card mats and card kits. And we will be talking about pens and markers and opaque markers and all of those things in the next video. But for today, we're going to concentrate on the kits and the card mats. And we're also going to talk about not only the Joy, but the Explore and the Maker. So when we start with card kits, there are 5 different sizes. So I have all 5 sizes here for us to look at. And each of these sizes is named R10, R20, R30, R40, and S40. And so if you look at the 42, beside that you see the little tiny R10, and we can see that this card kit is 3.5 by 4.9 for the card, and then the inserts and the envelopes. So then you go to the R20. It doesn't say R20. And that is really unfortunate. This is not a very old card kit, so it's not like I got this card kit back when I very first got my Joy. This is a more recent purchase, like 6 months ago, and it doesn't have the numbers on it. But if you're looking in Cricut Design Space, it's going to say R10, R20, R30. Now this is an R30, and this is a foil kit. Again, it doesn't say R30 on it, but this is the R30 size. And then you get to the S40. And so you see here, it says S40, which is great. I would just love some consistency. I wish Cricut put it on everything. And here again, you can see this one says R40. Perfect. So just know that there are 5 sizes and that not all the packaging is marked. And unfortunately, not all the mats are marked, and this is why I wanted to go through this with you. So this is the Cricut Joy mat that I purchased last week. And if you look here, do you see here? It has the size, which is perfect, but it does not have the R number. So in the old days, when I very first got my Cricut Joy, I was really confused because when you looked in Cricut Design Space, it would talk about the R numbers, but you couldn't find them all. The only thing I could find at the time was the R20. Shortly after that, the R10 came about, and then the R30. So at the Cricut Joy card mat, I wrote these on myself because I didn't want to forget what they were. And it makes sense, right? The smaller R10, R20, R30. But at the time, when you didn't have all the information, it was really confusing. And unfortunately, now the new Cricut Joy card mats still don't say R10, 20, and 30 on them. Now, if you go over to the Cricut Explore and the Maker card mat, which is a 2x2, and by the way, I'll put this video up above if you guys want to learn how to make this step by step or use this step by step. Do you see that? 10, 20, 30, 40. So it actually has the numbers on it, which is great. Okay, so I just wanted you guys to be clear that there are 4 different machines that can make cards. You have the Cricut Joy, which will make the 10, the 20, and the 30. And then all 3 of the other machines, including the Maker, the Explorer, and the Cricut Extra, or the Joy Extra, can make also the S40 and the R40. Okay, so let's go ahead and move these out of the way. And today we're going to use our Cricut Joy to make our very first card. Okay, so a little tip for my Cricut Joy owners: if you've had your Joy for a while and you're going to be making a lot of cards this Christmas season, intricate cuts, you may want to go ahead and change your blade. And I actually need to change my blade, so we're going to do that together today. So I'm just going to pop this open, take out my blade. It's very simple. It's magnetic. So let's see if you can see this here. So we're just going to depress the end and literally just pull it out. And so once the blade is out, and I will link up new blades down below in the description. It has a tiny little cover on it because of course it's sharp. We'll set that to the side. And now we just want to take our housing, and because it's magnetic, I'm not sure if you could hear that, but it just popped right in. And so now the blade is in the housing. It was really that simple. Okay, so now we're gonna pop the new blade in. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And just so I don't poke myself, we will put the little lid back on that. Okay, so now on the craft table, what we have is our Cricut Joy card mat. Again, this is a brand new card mat. You see it does not have any of the R references on it. And I'm going to go ahead and take off the cover. So if you've not used the Cricut Joy card mat before, it is very simple and I love it. I love how easy it is to make cards on the Cricut Joy. And then we have our R20, which is the 4.25 by 5.5 card kit. I've selected this card and this insert from this set. I will go ahead and say to you guys that I am a lover of pattern. And I realize that they can't put all the patterns and all the things because it would just be too difficult to, maybe market all of those things. So I am going to be doing in future videos, probably starting next week, patterns. So we're gonna cut our own inserts and maybe even our own cards. And I have a video that I will put up above if you wanna make your own R20 card kits. So make sure and check that out. It is very simple and you can make some beautiful things with all the pattern. But for today, we're going to use the card kit just as it is. So we're going to take this card, pop it open, pick up our card mat. We're going to slide it under, and we want to make sure that it butts up beside perfectly, okay? Perfectly. And so then we will start at one corner and make this edge perfect, and then I will even use my brayer. And I do this honestly because I don't want any of the oils or anything from my hands, because I use lotion a lot, to get onto my card. And so I'll use my brayer and put down my paper. So now we're ready. It was really that simple. The most important thing to using any of the card mats is to make sure that they are well aligned at the top and at the side. So now we're going to place that into our machine. Cricut Joy doesn't have any buttons like the Maker and the Explore do, so it just feeds it on in immediately. And now all you have to do is press the go button, whether you're on your desktop or your app. Today's projects are all about simplicity. So we are literally going to use the card kits and the blade. We're not going to use pens or anything today, but those will be coming in the next episode. So today though, we are going to skip through the editing. We're not going to write on the inside of the card yet. And we are going to go ahead and select our machine and cut our card. It's going to give you a couple of instructions. It shows you that it's loading. It does tell you to insert your blade if it's not already. And we are ready to cut. Okay, and so our card is done. And with a new mat, one of the things I love about this, so you can see all the intricate cuts, but with a new mat, you are able to kind of like pop it up at the corner. And for the most part, the card mat will weed the card. Now, if it's sticking, because again, this one's brand new, you might want to take your spatula and kind of work it off of that mat. Then we can take our weeding tool and just make sure that we get all the little pieces. Okay, so now that I have the insert in place, you can really see how beautiful this card is, and it's kind of like this peekaboo 3D effect. So basically you just flip open, so the card is like this, and then you just flip open the paper and make a crease. And if you're really gentle, you could even use your brayer to sort of go around and place the creases in, and I did a little bit of that. But look how gorgeous this is. What a fun card to give this Christmas. Okay, and just a really quick tip on how to clean your mat. Trash can, mat, scraping tool. And you can just get all of those little pieces off without making a horrendous mess in your craft room. Or less of a mess, right? There we go, perfect. Okay, and as promised, one tip here at the end that I think you are going to like if you don't already know how to do this. This is for all of you guys who want to make the cards that we are making in these videos. And so instead of having to go in and search for a key term and maybe finding the card that we worked on, there is a way to do that. So let's pop into Cricut Design Space and I'll show you how this works. And by the way, these codes that I'm about to give you are down in the description below, and I will put them in the bottom of every video that we do in this card making series. Okay, so looking at Cricut Design Space, if you see this image, we've searched this image, if you click on the 3 little dots here, you see these 3 little dots? If you click on that, it's going to pop down and it's going to give you a code, and it's going to have a hashtag in front of that code. That is the code that you would then search or use in Cricut Design Space to find that image. Now, when I put them in the description below, I'm not going to use the hashtag because then YouTube thinks that that's like a searchable term in YouTube, and it's not. So I will give you the code. Just remember to always put the little hashtag in front of it when you pop that into Cricut Design Space, and then it will bring up that image for you. Okay guys, I hope you are enjoying this card making series. I hope that you will stick around with me for all the things that we have upcoming. The next one in this series is going to be all about pens, markers, what types of pens work with which types of cards, because again, they're not all created equal and I have messed up some cards. So I don't want you to do that. And we're also going to talk about opaque pens if you haven't used those yet. If you ever wanted to write white onto a dark colored paper, I've got you covered. Okay guys, I will see you in the next one.